What is up, everybody? This is my first ever video, Mr. Underhook's MMA, and today I will be doing a UFC 300 full card breakdown. Alright, so it's very unfortunate we're starting off the night with a canceled Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway fight, but luckily they found last minute replacements for both of these guys. The replacement for Justin Gaethje will be Justin Gaethje, and Max Holloway's replacement will be Max Holloway. So I want to thank these two men for stepping up on such short notice and replacing these two. But anyway, we're gonna start off on the early prelims. All right. So starting off the early prelims, we have Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. Um, to be honest, I know everyone loves Cody, and I would like for him to win, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, listen, Cody used to be a really good fighter. He was undefeated when he won the belt. Pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But and he's still very good, but his chin is just not there. And when you match him up with a guy like Davison Figueiredo, who is like one of the hardest hitters in those lighter weight divisions, it's just not a great matchup on his part. So honestly, I'm gonna have to probably pick Davison by brutal round two left hook, because you know Cody loves to exchange those. Alright, moving on to the next fight, we got Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. So, yeah, to be honest, I don't really know what to expect out of this fight. Bobby Green is coming off a brutal loss to Jalen Turner, brutal knockout, and Jim Miller knocked out his last opponent really quickly in his fight. So, I don't really know what to expect because Jim Miller, this guy is old. He's 40 years old. Um, I mean, other than that, these guys' stats are pretty identical. Identical reach. Bobby Green's got a 1 inch height advantage. That's not that big a deal. But yeah. I, like I said, I don't really know how this fight's gonna go. But if I did have to predict it, I see these guys kind of going back and forth on the feet. Um, Bobby might start piecing up Jim, and Jim might have to start I don't know, maybe wrestling a little bit, using some of his like grappling. But I see a Bobby Green 29-28 decision. Next fight, uh, bathroom break. We got Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez, right? I'm gonna be honest. I know nothing about this woman, but I know Jessica Andrade just broke her losing streak. So I don't really want to put a lot of time into this, but I'm just gonna say Jessica Andrade by decision. All right, next fight, Jalen Turner versus my buddy, my boy, Renato Moicano. He wants money. He is going to be getting one of those $300,000 bonuses tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think that's happening. I really wish it would, but I just don't see it going too well for him. I mean, Jalen Turner came off a close split decision loss to, what do you call it? To Dan Hooker, right? Some people believe he won that fight. I don't know. I just know it was really good back and forth. And Hinato, I'd say pretty convincingly he beat Drew Dober in his last fight, but it wasn't an amazing showing. He just kind of used his grappling to stop Dober from hitting him. But that's taking nothing away from the performance. Hinato put on a pretty good performance there. But anyway, if I did have to see or make a prediction, I would also probably say Jalen Turner, maybe by like the middle of round three. I see maybe a TKO. Like Hinato maybe shoots in for a double. Jalen sprawls, and then I don't know. Jalen maybe hits him with some ground and pound, or on the way up he hits him with something. But I don't know. I'd love for Moicano to win, but I just don't know if I see it happening. So those are my picks for the early prelims. Now we're gonna be moving on to the prelims. Okay, so starting off with the prelims, we have the greatest featherweight of all time, Diego Lopez, versus Sadiq Yusuf, right? Honestly, like Lopez looked really good in his last fight. I mean, his striking looked really good. He knocked out Pat Sabatini, and I'm pretty sure it was like 3 minutes into the first round. And Sadiq Yusuf, I mean, he wasn't looking terrible against Barboza, but like, man, I don't know. Just the fact that he almost got submitted by Edson Barboza when you're matched up with a guy like Diego Lopez, like I just don't see that going too well for him. I'm gonna say for this fight, it's probably either gonna be a dominant Diego Lopez decision, or maybe like he catches him late in the fight, maybe round 3 or so, with like a rear naked choke or whatever. Another bathroom break: Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. Um, See, I'm not gonna go too far into this either, but Holly Holm is 42 years old. Bro, she should be like raising her kids and stuff right now, not fighting in the octagon. Kayla Harrison, Carl Harrison, you could call him or her, I guess. But she is only 33 compared to Holly, who's 42. Once you get like to this age, age matters a lot. And Kayla's young, probably in her prime, only lost once. Um, I don't really see how she could lose, honestly, unless she gets fraud checked because she's from the PFL. But I really don't know. I could see this going either way. But I think it could be. I don't think Kayla's going to finish her, but I think it will be maybe like a 29-28, maybe split decision for Kayla Harrison. Next fight: Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Now we're getting into the meat of the card. The great good stuff, you know? Aljo. This guy's moving up a weight class. Very, very big for bantamweight, so he's probably decently sized still for featherweight, but he might be on the smaller end versus Calvin Kattar. Um, Honestly, there's a lot of unknown variables like in this fight. What's gonna happen if Aljo's gonna be able to take him down? Because Calvin Kattar, if you look at his UFC stats, he's got like a 91% takedown defense. But I don't know. Like when you're pairing him up with a guy like Aljo, who has like such high grappling accolades and how he's just that good of a grappler, I don't see that really mattering. I mean, Aljo kind of did what he wanted to. Pause to like Henry Cejudo. Like that guy's an Olympic gold medalist, and Aljo kind of toyed with him. So I don't see Calvin stopping the takedowns. He might hit him with some good shots on the feet, but that won't matter because I think Aljo will either have gathered up enough control time on the ground, or he's just gonna submit him. I honestly am feeling a Sterling submission. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe he could get mount or whatever. After taking him down off the cage, like they're in half guard for a little. Aljo eventually steps over, mixing in some ground and pound stuff. I could see maybe an Aljamain Sterling arm triangle, or maybe just like a regular old rear naked choke. So that's my pick for this fight: Aljo by submission. Next fight: Yuri Provokovich. Yuri Prakayev, guys. Yeah, Yuri Prakayev versus Alexander Rakic. So, uh, I mean, Yuri's coming off a pretty bad. I'm not gonna say pretty bad because some people think it was early, but a TKO loss from Alex Pereira, who we'll get to later on tonight. But yeah, he's fighting Alexander Rakic. He hasn't fought in quite a while. I think his last fight was in 2022 or so. But yeah, hold on, let me check real quick. All right, so yeah, I just pulled up this dude's Sherdog. I mean, look, his last fight was in the middle of 2022. Guys, we're almost here in 2024. That's almost a 2-year layoff. And we don't know what this knee injury could do to him. I mean, there's some fighters where leg injuries have, like, ended their careers, like Weidman or Silva. But then at the same time, we've seen guys like Tom Aspinall completely, like, at least what we know of, recover from, knee injuries, and they go on to do good stuff. But I don't know, bro. Yuri's a really good grappler. I'm not gonna say really good, but he's got passable grappling. So I could see him kind of stopping any sort of grappling attempts that Rakic could try. I think this is gonna be honestly more of a stand-up fight, maybe some cage control by Rakic, but I see it mostly being a stand-up fight. And honestly, I could see Yuri chinning this guy. Like, Yuri's a dog. Look, he got 25 KOs to his record, man. That's kind of a lot. He's on a crazy winning streak before he lost to Pereira. But yeah, listen, dude, this guy's good. BJP. Um, I might have to take him for this, honestly. I think we could get a Yuri Prochazka TKO. Honestly, Jesus. Maybe like early on in the fight. Honestly, I could see him maybe dropping him with something bad. Um, and honestly, I just see him finishing with maybe some grappling, ground and pound. And yeah, that's really how I see that fight ending. Now, we had some good fights here. Oof, this is the real good stuff. Not this. Let's pretend this is like down here. But anyway, moving on to the UFC 300 main card. Opening up the second coming of Jesus Christ. Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage, middleweight goat, and Bo Nickel, the son of God. Yeah, he came down from heaven himself to bless all of us to watch his MMA. Just kidding. I hate this dude, and I hope Cody Brundage chins him. However, that's not gonna happen because Cody Brundage, I mean, this guy's 10-5. He's 29, but he's 10-5. That's just not it, bro. Like, this guy lost to Jacob Malkoun. Who is that? Who is Jacob Malkoun? Like, that's a very good question. And honestly, I don't think anyone knows. So when you're losing to guys like Jacob Malkoun, how could you beat Bo Nickel? I mean, Bo Nickel's like a minus 2,200 favorite, I think, for this fight. But I think the fight could be closer than people are expecting. I'm sure people are expecting a pretty quick sub by Bo Nickel, but I don't see that happening. I think Cody's gonna kind of fraud check Bo. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a pretty close fight. Bo is probably gonna take him down pretty early, but I don't think he's gonna submit Cody. I think there's gonna be some good work on the ground going on. But yeah, I think Cody if he doesn't get up, he'll go into the next round nice. He'll be down a round, and he'll know that he's gonna have to put some work in. So I could see Cody not hurting Bo on the feet, but I could see him kind of piecing him up. Maybe he takes the second round, then Bo goes into the next one, like realizing he just kind of need to lay on him just to kind of win the fight. And I could see Bo holding Cody against the cage for the win, 29-28, at the end of the fight. So yeah, that's my prediction for this fight. Bo Nickel, 29-28, maybe 30-27 decision. Charles Dubrunix Oliveira. Charles Oliveira fighting Arman Tsarukyan. This is going to be a really good fight. I mean, it's like this is a certified banger. Like, there's no way that this fight could end in any way that it's not boring unless one of the guys gets hurt. However, I believe we are going to see a Charles Oliveira round 2 arm triangle. I mean, you might be wondering, why is my pick so specific? I saw it in a dream. I don't know why, but I saw it in a dream. I saw Charles Oliveira. It kind of looked like what Islam did to him, just like reversed. Charles Oliveira having a deep arm triangle on Arman. So, but breaking this fight down a little bit more, besides like giving my pick and all that, Charles is a really good striker. I mean, Arman is too. We saw him knock out Beneil in his last fight. But Charles is crispy. He's probably going to get dropped or wobbled at some point, but I don't see that really affecting him. I could see Arman hurting him, but I see Charles bouncing back and, kind of hurting Arman with whatever. I could see he's not going to take down Arman, but I could see Arman maybe shooting. Charles sprawls on him, maybe circles around to the back, but Arman turns to his side, maybe recovers a half guard or whatever, and maybe he reaches up, tries to get an underhook or whatever, or even just tries to hit him from the bottom. Charles catches him, and I just see the finish coming from there. This is gonna be a much better fight than people are expecting. The Charles Glazers are gonna go crazy, but this is a good fight, man. Arman's gonna put up a good fight for Charles. It's gonna be a good one, but Charles, I honestly think tomorrow night he's gonna be illuminated by God. And I see him taking that win, honestly. So Charles Oliveira, Round 2 arm triangle. That's my pick. Moving on to the BMF title fight. We have Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. This is going to be fight of the night. Right here. This is fight of the night material. I don't know why it still says Holloway 145. He's a 55er now. But this is like guaranteed fight of the night. I mean, Justin Gaethje, who is never in a boring fight, versus Max Holloway, who has cardio for 15 rounds straight. Like, this is going to be really good. The huge volume striker versus more of a reckless power striker. So, I'm not too sure how this fight's going to go, really. Once again, this is another one of those fights with a lot of new variables. We got to see, like, how Holloway adjusts to 155. We have to see how, like, if he looks undersized compared to Justin. I mean, you see those pictures on Instagram or whatever of Max looking all bulked up and stuff. But then you see pictures of him at, like, the weigh-ins, and he looks, I mean, basically exactly the same as he did before. So, I don't know, really. But I don't want to really use MMA math, but we saw what Poirier did to Holloway once he got to 155. It was a close fight, but, like, I don't know. I just don't see Holloway really winning this. I see Justin kind of catching him with some leg kicks, kind of like, kind of how Volk did to him, I guess, right? I don't see an absolute outclassing from Justin. I see it being pretty close. That's why I kind of predicted to be fight of the night. But yeah, I say Justin Gaethje, maybe 48-47 decision. Now we're moving on to the co-main event. I'm not gonna say this is a bathroom break, because it's not. Honestly, this is not that bad of a fight. Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan. I mean, like, this is as good of a woman's fight you can ask for, I guess. I'm not really gonna go deep into this one either because it's a woman's fight. No offense to them, but I mean, I don't really know much about Yan, but I don't see her having anything really to do against Weili. Maybe she catches her or something, but Weili is a really good grappler as well as being a good striker. So I could see her really utilizing her wrestling to kind of beat up Yan. But yeah, for my pick for this, I'm probably going to say either a late TKO for Weili or maybe a decision. Now, moving on to the main event, the UFC 300 main event for the light heavyweight title. Alex Poogie Bear Pereira versus Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. And I'm sorry, but I think Jamal is going to be giving Pereira sweet dreams. Please don't attack me for saying this, but I just feel like it's true. I want Pereira to win as much as you guys do, but, like, Jamal's just a bad matchup for him. I mean, Alex, in every single fight, gets caught by straight punches, specifically straight crosses from, like, orthodox, right? In every fight we've seen it against Izzy, against Yuri especially, and I think even Sean was catching him a little bit, not a lot, but a little. Now, I know I said from orthodox, you're gonna be like, oh, Jamal Hill's a southpaw. What is that gonna have to do with anything? Jamal's constantly switching stances. I mean, we saw it when he fought Glover. He was not in the same stance for more than, like, a minute. He was switching constantly in that fight, blasting him with head kicks, and head kicks, and just straights in general, right? So I don't see this fight lasting long. I can't see it going to decision for either of these guys. So if it does go Pereira's way, I don't see him winning a decision. Like, if he wins, it's gonna be by knockout. And Jamal, I don't see him winning by decision either. It's got to be knockout. So, with that being said, I see Jamal getting it done within 3 rounds. I'm gonna say round 2, brutal knockout by Jamal Hill. As much as we'd all hate to see it, I just feel like that could happen. I don't want to, but that might be it. Brutal knockout by Jamal Hill early on in the fight. Yeah. I mean, if you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe, like the video, please. Any support is appreciated. Leave a comment if you think my picks are terrible. If not, you can just go. And yeah, those are my UFC 300 picks. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.